Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And I was actually able to get this book done, except for the closure. I just haven't figured out what I want to use yet. So I thought I'd show you the book real quick. A couple of people were asking for a flip through, so I wanted to get that done for you. So I took this beautiful antique book, and actually this picture was kind of all worn off of it. So the picture, I took a picture out of the actual book pages and was able to, I thought the colors looked really nice on the cover, so I was able to replace it. So, pretty plain book otherwise, but I love the color and I love the wording on it. These old books are so pretty. So, there's so much to do with birds and I just didn't even know where to start, and I had too many ideas, so I think I got a little carried away. But I'm happy with what I ended up with, because I started with two antique books, one from 1913 and one I think was 1916, and they had lovely color plates inside of all different kinds of birds. And so some of the book, the other book was not in really good shape, so I actually used some of the original plates. In this case, I used copies of the plates, so I didn't have to tear the book apart. But so here's Mr. Blue Jay and the Cardinals, and I think we all love the bright colors of those. And I put these on top of old book covers that were in pretty bad shape, so I was able to salvage the covers. And I used this fabric. It looks embossed and it looks like leather, but it feels a little like suede too, but it's not real leather. But it's got a great backing on the back of it, so it worked really great to kind of bind these to the cover. And I wanted to make sure I didn't cover up the front. So on the back I did, but on this side I didn't want to do that. And actually, upon thinking again, I used covers that were a little bit smaller than the original book cover. So I probably should have done this on the back too, but it sticks out a little bit. But it works, and it's very workable and solid. So here's another book that I have to move around. But this is really more about the journal than it is about the fold outs, but I really wanted to highlight some of the beautiful pages that I found. So on the front cover, I just did a very basic pocket, and I used some antique end paper, and just did a little bit of a punch on that. And then I've got Robin Redbreast here, and this great card, which is a picture that I found in an old book and I've copied many times already, but isn't it lovely, lovely picture, just on some cardstock. And some antique music paper, again a copy of the page, but Good Morning just seemed appropriate for Mr. Robin in this picture. And there's also a bird on there, so it kind of just fit the theme and the colors, etc. And I used some very old fabric. I liked the colors in it for the binding, so I did a hidden spine. And you can see I found these beautiful papers from Fifi the Paper Crafter on her Etsy shop, and I'll put a link in the description for those papers, because I've already had people ask me about those. So I did like a little 2 signature on this spine. I didn't want to use the big spine because I had other ideas, but I coffee dyed the pages, and this is from an Edith Holden book. I just used it for a pocket, and I had these original cards. I copied what I had, so this isn't the original, but these were just awesome This is a wood thrush from American Songbirds. And I don't remember where I got these from, but I have a few of them in here. They're just lovely. And they're very old, so they're not in great shape. So I copied them and put them on cardstock so they would hold up. Another really pretty page that Fifi did here and here. So there's a lot of her pages. And then there's a lot of blank pages for writing. I did a belly band here. And this is a copy of another antique trade card. It's actually for spool silk. So I thought it was really cool. It's got a little fairy with some silk on her back and talking to the little birdie. So tucked that in here. I thought the colors were nice together. Sewed it in here with some blue thread. Seemed to be having some blue going on here. Lots of pretty pages from Fifi. Really pretty, huh? And then here's between the signatures. I left a little extra room just in case somebody wanted to tuck something in there. Especially because I was thinking this is a bird watcher theme in my mind, so maybe some pages will be stuck in between to get them safely home, or to take notes, etc., or to make notes for what they want to write in the journal. And here's another one of those great trade cards. This is the Meadowlark, and I just used a piece of antique lace here, and I backed it up with In the Garden. I thought that was appropriate, and it looked nice with the music for the birds. I think this is a page from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Pretty sure, but I just thought that the colors and everything went well in here. So that page is that. More Fifi. And this is just a copy of a page I had from another old book. So there are a couple little things mixed in here. So I added some pretty trim in between these two pages. I liked the colors together. And then this is another copy of a trade card that I have. And I put a couple of copies of pages from, oh no, these are actually the originals from the antique book that was falling apart. And I just cut out the name of the bird and glued it on just to give it a little bit more interest there. Look, I love the eggs on here. And then, yeah, this is another copy of a photo that I have, or an image that I have. And this is the other side of that Ephemera's Vintage Garden page. And then more of Fifi's papers. And on this one, I actually cut out this little girl with her little bird's nest and stuck her there under the bird. I thought that looked cute. Just to give it a little something. So those are the journal signatures. And then this little girl I made into a pocket. I added a little stamp on top of her. She's a copy of one of my antique trade cards as well. And inside are more of the copies from different photos inside the book. So well, images, they look like they're drawings. But I did it again. I cut out the names. And then it's funny because in this book they named the birds. So this is Scrapper the kingbird and Tommy Tit the chickadee. So I made sure I added those to the pictures, and then I made this a little bit of an expanding pocket. Not a lot, just a little, so I could make sure I tucked several of those inside. And then I'm gonna move this over. So on this side I have the cardinal, and I made this expanding folder out of a Pendaflex folder. getting crumbs on it from the table I gotta clean. Here's another piece of the fabric I used on the spine, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is another antique end paper from an old book. And the Mockingbird, I copied this out of one of the antique books. I don't remember which one, but here's the third of those trade cards that I have. And on the back is a song, Feathers. So again, appropriate. And then this is A Year with the Birds, which was out of one of those books as well. I put a little bit of a magnet in there so it stays closed for you. And inside, I tucked another little blank journal. I figured this would be a good place for making notes, field notes, or just additional journaling, or pictures of birds, or drawing birds, or whatever. And I coffee dyed this lined pages to put in this one. So nothing else in there except this is a picture from the antique book again, and just the lined pages and simple little signature that I sewed together. And then over here I made another simple pocket and added just a little bit of punched paper to kind of spice it up a little bit. And then here's another copy of a trade card, and I actually embossed her with some music and some tulips, kind of reminiscent of her with the bird and being outside. And I have another stamp on there. So these papers on either side here are also antique end papers from another book, and I don't remember which book, but I cut them down a little bit to fit, so it was a big book. Just don't remember what. And then so in the center, which was the original spine of the bird book, I just made these two fabric pockets out of this upholstery fabric. It's vintage fabric that I got from one of the ladies on Facebook. I don't remember. It might have been from Denise. I made these little tags and put different songs. This one says Song Sparrow. I put different bird names: wood thrush, blue jay, cardinal, hummingbird, cuckoo. Can identify that, and the whippoorwill. So I just put those on a little pin here, and they're hanging off. And then I have this very, very old pair of stork scissors, and I don't know for sure, but by the way that they are tarnished here, I don't know if they're silver. I honestly don't know, but I found them at an estate sale in the bottom of somebody's sewing bin, and I thought I'm gonna find a use for those because they're just beautiful, and what better place to cut specimens but a stork scissors in a bird book. Kind of made sense to me. And then last but not least, I just made these little tags, and they're you know, something to tear off and label. And these are just more remnants from the different antique end papers that I thought would be nice to use them. So I just tucked them in this top pocket here and added a little bit of lace so they wouldn't fall into the pocket, because I left this pocket so it goes all the way down. I originally thought I'd put a pen or pencil in there. So that would work too if that's what somebody wants to do. It's a great place to tuck a writing implement. So fold, 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 done. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do. If anybody has suggestions for a closure on this one, I think I might. I was thinking about using this, but it's really kind of thick and I don't think it will work very well. But if anybody has any ideas, I'm open. I'd love to hear them. And I'll be working on that probably tomorrow so I can get this finished up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.